How good are exactly the Colts opponent and the Jacksonville Jaguars going to be this season? In my opinion, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though with the addition of Trevor Lawrence, people know they're going to be decent. People know they're going to be on the radar. But I think they're still a bit underrated. They made some really good free agency signings, and they made some really good draft picks. And I think this Jaguars team may surprise some. It may be a really good football club heading into the 2021 NFL season. And if you were tuning into the JDW SportsTalkShow, I appreciate you. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Colts AFC South opponent and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, real quick before I get into it, I just want to say, if you do enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, turn that bell on. Now let's get back into the video. The Jacksonville Jaguars, one of the worst teams over the last few years. Since that 2017 game, they really have not found anything since that game. They haven't found any, they really lost some of those pieces. I'm not really going to talk about those pieces today, but they did lose some pieces since then. But they built their team back up to a really good, solid young team. First, if you go to the offense side of the ball, obviously they drafted Trevor Lawrence, one of the best and most coveted draft prospects of all time in the NFL history. So he's going to come in. If he's anything as half of anyone's saying that he's going to be, he's going to come in and he's going to be a really good quarterback, and he's going to make this Jaguars team a really good team. And then you go to the wide receivers. Trevor Lawrence has a pretty good supporting cast. His wide receivers are solid. He's got a very underrated guy in DJ Chark. He's got a young stud in Laviska Shenault. He's got a young stud in Johnson. And then he's also got that veteran guy, Marvin Jones, the newly acquired guy, who's going to come in and help him out a little bit. So the receiving core is nice. It's decent. And then you go to tight end. They signed Tim Tebow. Is he going to make a difference? I'm not sure. I think this was more of a trying to sell tickets kind of a move. Bring in Tim Tebow, bring in that kind of a name. People are going to be attracted to that name, and people are going to want to go see a player that hasn't played in 9 years. That's considered one of the biggest busts in NFL history. As we know, coming out as a quarterback, he has that connection with Myer from back in Florida. He's going to come in. He's probably going to compete for a spot. Does he get one? I doubt it. I don't get signing a player that's 33 that hasn't played in over 9 years. It's a bit questionable to me, but then if you go to the offensive line, solid. You have a guy in that Cam Robinson who you brought back. Andrew Norwell is a really good guard. I believe they have Brandon Linder, if I'm not mistaken, who's a good center or guard. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, this Jaguars offense, Walker Little, this Jaguars offensive line is underrated, and it's going to be a solid one. And then you go to the running backs, a really good group. You have one who's going to pound the football, who's going to make you worry running up the middle. And then you have one who's going to make you worry coming out of the backfield in Travis Etienne. Trevor Lawrence's teammate back in Clemson was a really good receiving option. I think this is a boom or bust prospect for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I think he's going to be a good player, but I think he's a very, 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 very poor man's version of Alvin Kamara. I think he's going to be a really good scat back. A back coming out of the backfield. He's going to be a really good pass catcher. Running the ball, I don't think he's going to run the ball as much. I think that's going to be James Robinson's job. James Robinson showed the ability to be a number 1 back in the National Football League last year. He showed that he can run. He showed that he could be a good back and make a difference. And they also have Carlos Hyde, I believe. 3 really good backs. So, and they all complemented each other really nicely. And then you go over to the defensive side of the ball. You have, we're gonna start at the front. You have Josh Allen, Caleb Von Chaseon, 2 really solid guys. Then you have Dwayne Smoot. So they have some really good guys on that defensive line. Make a difference. And then you have the 2 linebackers, Miles Jack and Joe Schobert, 2 really solid linebackers Joe Schobert, a tackling machine, and Miles Jack is a really good pass coverage guy and can also stop the run. He's a very good linebacker. And then you go over to their defense, or then you go over to the cornerbacks. Cornerbacks are really talented as well. You have Shaquille Griffin coming in from Seattle, really good lockdown corner. You have C.J. Henderson, a top 5 picks a few years ago. So I think they got a little cornerback duo brewing in Jacksonville. You know, and then they have a few guys competing for the slot spot. Sidney Jones. You know, I don't think Tyson Campbell is a slot guy. I think he's more of a boundary guy, but I think that's good depth. So, you know, someone's going to compete for that slot spot. And then you have, you know, the safeties. The newly, you know, both of these safeties that are expected to start are both new to this team. Rashawn Jenkins is new to this team. And Andre Sisco, drafted in the 2021 NFL Draft, who is another boomer bust prospect that I think can be a really good safety, or he's going to be really bad. But I think he's going to be better than bad. So, yeah, this is the Jacksonville Jaguars team. And I think they will probably finish 3rd or 2nd in the division. You know, they're going to be a really good team. You know, I honestly think they're going to finish 3rd. That's my opinion. I think their low is maybe, you know, maybe 7-9. No. Maybe the low is like, oh no, it'd be 7-10. Maybe 6-11, 7-10, and then the high can maybe be, you know, 9-8. I think could be the record. 9-8. You know, I would say higher, but this schedule was really difficult with some teams that are further along in the rebuild, that are more ready. And, you know, I can see the Jaguars having a few really nice big wins mixed in there. And that's what a young team is going to do. They're going to come in hungry, and they're going to come in and they're going to want to win a few games, a few big games. But at the end of the day, they're a bit young. And they still need some time to continue to develop those players. So that's what I got for you today. I think they're going to finish 3rd in the AFC South. That's going to be it for today's episode. If you did enjoy, I appreciate it if you smash the like button and hit the subscribe button and turn on that bell notification. And that's going to be it for this video. If you've enjoyed, as always, I'll catch you next time.